Today, I am going to be giving you guys a tour of my hero loadouts. So I just spent quite a while, feels like half an hour, reorganizing my loadouts into sections, and I feel really good about it. I want this to be very clear, by the way. This video is not meant to be a guide for hero loadouts, more a guide for hero loadout organization. Stream chat's having a fun time. Twitch link down below if you guys want to be a part of these live. I'm going to mute those alerts for the rest of the video. I want to show you guys how I organized it because I think it could be useful to you. If you want hero loadouts, my hero guides playlist is a really good resource with lots of hero guides. This is a great place to find the best bow loadouts, strongest loadouts, shotgun soldiers, etc. because these sections that I'm going to be showing you guys are not static loadouts. They're very flexible, and I'll be showing examples as we go along. And then my other playlist, fun loadouts. I know it says fun, so you might not take it seriously, but I swear these are literally some of the strongest loadouts I've ever seen, and some of them are really dumb, like pickaxe loadouts, right next to each other in the playlist. That is beautiful. So there's kind of everything in there. If you're looking for fun ways to play the game, fun ways to enjoy Save the World, you know, break up the meta and just have a good time when you're otherwise bored, these playlists are full of, look at these hundreds of videos, 168, and there are a lot of overlap, but at least 100 plus videos in here that can help you out. And I'm going to be referring to those playlists a lot because, like I said, these are sections. This is not the only constructor build I ever use. This is not the only sledgehammer build I ever use. Every single build in this whole area can be changed in some way. So let's talk. All right. The number one out of 15 loadouts that I have is my basic constructor section. I've had this for years. This is the one that I did not change when I reorganized everything today. This could be anything. Right now it's just mega base recycling, but this could be easily mega base supercharged traps because he covers a lot of traps. This could easily be Ice King lead. He is the world's most popular commander because obviously he stops and freezes enemies, but then I would just put mega base in support. Supercharged traps is really good for the team. Recycling if it's an easy mission. You could do whatever you want. Boom base to boost the boys, whatever. These are not the only support perks that work. As I said, I'm going to refer back to those playlists. My best constructor loadout video down below is a much better resource if you want to build your own, but this is my constructor section. Now, the next few are just the, not necessarily totally rocking out, but these are sort of the weapon categories. This is ARs, SMGs, and pistols. Then we've got shotguns straight up. I don't expect this build to change much. Then we've got bows, which includes Zenith, and then we move on to melees after that. So backing up a step, this could be any of what I just mentioned. So this could be ARs and SMGs. If I want to play with Outlanders, I could simply switch to Beetlejuice, enjoy her phase shift, her Teddy, Seismic Smash, the farming capabilities of Outlanders, and this is how I like to set up my builds. So we've got our team perk, totally rocking out to do more damage, or Blast from the Past, honestly, changes almost nothing. I would change the team perk and then these top two perks. That's it. That's why I organized it into sections based on weapon, because if I want to just activate it, then I would just use Hide, Rex Jonesy all the way down there, and then Fumble could just become whatever other perk makes sense. I don't know. Going Coconuts would make sense for Blast from the Past. So, boom. I've modified my Totally Rockin' Out build to be essentially identical because it doesn't really make a big difference. But let me back up one more and go back to Totally Rockin' Out. Again, I just changed Battle Beat on top just to keep everything nice and steady. Subwoofers make sense, but we want to stay in the action, so Fumble in this example. I like to have a basic damage support. Then Rex is at the bottom a lot because he just works in almost any build. Adding a little bit of extra damage once per second works with so many loadout types, and he might not be the best for ARs and SMGs. If you disagree with me, and I kind of disagree with myself right now, I could easily put Locked and Reloaded. You see how fluid this is? I really love this system because it makes me, it makes it so I have a section for everything and I don't need to rearrange my builds constantly. And honestly, Epic adding extra hero loadouts is so freaking nice. I have directly asked Epic community managers for years, and they finally did that a few Venture seasons ago. We used to only have 9, and that was really restrictive. Now they've released 1 loadout per season. It's been 6 seasons, so we have 15 now, and next season will be 16, and this list will only get longer and longer, but you'll see that I'll get to the fun loadouts after like loadout 10. After that, I don't think I need more as a player, but I will always take more loadouts. It's the first thing I buy every season. So in this example, I like to have Assault Ammo Recovery just to extend my magazine size, but if I wanted to convert this to an Outlander with Beetlejuice, boom, you just put Chaos Agent in there because you can reload with her phase shift. Now we have an Outlander build. So that's how fluid this is. I'm going to reset this back to default on camera without a cut because I want to show you guys how easy this is. Boom, I'm back to a normal loadout. If I'm running like a triple crit damage Nocturno or something silly like that, I could very easily swap Fumble to, you know, Subwoofers, and that's how fluid this is. And that goes for the same thing for shotguns and the bows. Shotguns are a little less complicated. I almost exclusively use Chaos Agent because he functionally extends, by cutting out mag size, he functionally increases your DPS by like 80%. It's stupid. Meaning, if you're using the ground pounder, boom, 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 laying into a big smasher or a mini boss, the 5 seconds it takes to put those 12 shells back is a lot of time you're not doing damage. He can reload your entire shotgun with a Warcry, Frag Grenade, or Shockwave in this build, and that is nuts. You can drain your ground pounder, Warcry, boosting your damage and fire rate with a new mag size immediately. It's so good that I snapped twice. So very, very strong hero. He makes shotguns very good. And if you're reloading quickly with Locked and Reloaded, you're typically going to drain. You are typically going to drain your mag in less than 5. I'm so excited I can't even talk. Less than 5 seconds, and then you're going to enjoy 50% damage bonus forever. So yeah, if you guys can't tell, this is a casual one-take recording, and I am just too excited about this because I love organization. Storage systems in Minecraft used to be my thing, and this is like kind of the same thing for Fortnite. Now, the bow section is a little more complicated because some people prefer Farah in the lead. If you are using the vacuum tube bow, that makes sense because the chain lightning is nuts. I think raw damage from Rabbit Raider is way higher than Stoneheart Farah. He is my preferred commander, but some people just like the double jump and the no fall damage, and you're totally fine. She's a great hero lead. That's awesome. You could see if I wanted her in the lead, I would just swap them around. If you wanted a Zenith build, because his build is so similar, I feel like this is all you need. You don't really need Farah in a Zenith build because your goal is to be critting hard and freezing smashers. So the extra damage from Farah is not really needed, but you could put her in there if you wanted. Again, best bow loadouts, best shotgun loadouts, best soldier loadouts in the description down below. If you guys wanted to build your own and learn everything, that is not what this video is. I'm just showing how fluid it is. And then of course, because hybrid kind of makes sense, maybe Rex could take a back seat because we're not focused as much on damage. We're focused on keeping enemies frozen, and an extension to your affliction is a great way to keep them frozen. So that's just another example of how this bow section is kind of 3 loadouts in one. Obviously, they can't do everything, but it's one section, 3 different loadouts. It's really, really cool. Moving on to melees. Melees are pretty simple and wildly complicated. So I have a Blast from the Past build and a Totally Rockin' Out build. 99% of the time, you're running a melee build. Blast from the Past, Luna's in the lead. Obviously, she's a queen of melees. She adds your 9% of your health to the damage, and that stacks with every single swing. So fast attack speed melees can get well over 1 million damage a second very quickly, and this build is just normalized for that. Hide and support just to activate it. Vigor, because there's nothing better. And then Battle Beat to swing quicker. Anatomy Lessons is, again, something we could swap out. This is not a build that is exclusively used for swords, axes, and scythes, just mostly. So if I'm running something else, it could make sense to swap her out. Coconuts to stay alive. I mean, this is just a basic Luna build. I don't expect this to change too much. This one changes a lot. Totally Rockin' Out is a wide field. You could be running axes, in which case you would want to use Dennis Jr. in support. In fact, this would be an easier way to get there because, you know, he increases the crit chance of axes specifically. If you wanted to use like a crit hits cause an explosion build, I think we're pretty much fine as is. Sometimes you want Luna, sometimes you want Assassin Sarah in support. This can change a lot, but the basics are, it's usually the same heroes rearranged, and that's kind of the point that I'm making. It's really, really good. So yeah, this is a static, basic, Totally Rockin' Out build that I think is fine to just leave for now, but as soon as I decide to use a spear or something, we're gonna have to swap out something like probably Luna and then put in something fitting. I don't even know if she is, let me actually find her real quick. Yeah, I don't think she's better than Luna, but a 25% damage bonus is kind of nice. That's tricky, but again, this is not a loadout guide. Best melee build down description down below if you guys want to see that video on how to build your ninja loadouts. Moving on, my Cloaked Shadow build. This is my current favorite Ventures build in the entire game. I expect this build to stay mostly the same. Again, Assassin Sarah and Paleo Luna are pretty flexible here. It could be one or the other, but basically you get kills however you want, get your peg legs, cannonballs, and your coconuts, and you're just good to go. Peg leg does the damage, Cloaked Shadow adds more on top of that. It's really, really satisfying. And AS407 is a melee fiend in chat. He's been wanting me to try out Cloaked Shadow in the commander slot, and that's where I would back up a step, swap him for the lead, and then you get the drill. Basically, this is what you would want. I wouldn't actually change my Cloaked Shadow section to run him a Totally Rockin' Out. I would just change my Totally Rockin' Out because it saves me a lot of clicks. That is the whole idea behind organizing my hero loadouts. I had them all over the place. I deleted my notes, but maybe I can like, yeah, it's saved. So this is how messy it was before. I had Constructor, fun build, farming loadout, which I don't even need anymore. I wasn't prepared to plug this, so let me open a tab real quick. But if you guys have seen my recent video on the channel, and you should, I've made an updated video on how to get every item and save the world. This was a high effort video, one of the best I've produced in a long time, and link down below. That shows that you don't really need a farming loadout. If you farm passively, do encampments, glowing animals, anomalies, looting, whatever, recycle the stuff that you get from those mini games like the target practice and storm chests, you probably don't need to run a farming loadout, maybe ever. So it just made no sense for me to not only have a farming loadout in here, but in Hero Loadout 4, this is one of my most skipped over hero loadouts. Why would I have a dedicated farming build that I never use in a high value slot? So anyway, I got rid of that, and you can see how messy this was. Totally rocking out melee, and then Luna was up here, like nothing was next to each other. Zenith existed just at the bottom. Like, what are we doing? So organizing this was meant to minimize the amount of inventory management. So you can see my first 7 loadouts are my most used, and that makes a lot of sense. Now, this looks like another soldier build, but it's actually a Dirge Song Boom build. This is the current strongest loadout in the game, in my opinion, and it's geared towards it. Again, that video, link down below, covers everything more specific, but first shot Rio, quick fingers, everything here just makes your Dirge Song do a ridiculous amount, preemptive strike. It's a very, very strong build, and I figured it deserved a dedicated slot. Now, the next one is just a basic Teddy build. I am not going to explain every iteration of every Teddy build ever. There are a lot of correct ways to make this build. The one you are looking at is not perfect. It's not the only one that can be, but if I wanted to swap around and put Cyberclops in the lead, there we go. I could do that, and I actually have, skipping over that one, Shock Specialist. This is kind of the fun loadout section, all right? I have a dedicated minigun loadout, description down below, and a dedicated Teddy loadout, and Shock Tower is a little less important, but all of these back builds are just fun ones that I'll get to in a second. But I feel like Teddy comes up enough. Low-level ventures, easy missions in whatever I'm doing, like a V-Buck mission, for example. There are instances where like I'm AFK eating, or we're just doing encampments quickly. Like I use Teddy kind of a surprising amount. And honestly, with the new heroes they just added, Madcap and Mayhem, it makes these builds a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, and I really like that the 2 new heroes have made it into my default loadout organization. It's really cool. I'm glad that new heroes are so viable. Again, basic minigun build. I don't need to explain this much. I have Escape Artist right now just because we're running dungeons, as I've stated a million times. If I was going to not be running dungeons, I would swap this for something else. I don't know what's missing in this minigun build without checking my video off the top of my head, but I would find something that made sense. Maybe I'd use coconuts. That would make sense because it would give me healing and damage. So there you go. But yeah, I would do that if I wasn't running dungeons, but we are running dungeons after I record this, so I'm going to keep this how it is. And same thing goes with Carbide. Carbide, fun build. This could be swapped tomorrow. The idea is that this slot is just a fun location, but between Ventures loadouts favoring Raven. So we just had Blasted Badlands, and next season will be the superhero modifier for Frozen Fjords. That will reduce the cooldown of your abilities, increase the damage substantially, and you can get energy back with weapon damage. I posted a video, I'm going to try to remember to link down below, of that Venture season. You should watch it, even if it's not that Venture season, because I was using using the Lefty and Righty, doing a ridiculous amount of damage with Raven, and then getting all of the energy back with a bazooka shot. It was so fun. It was so fun. And so with Lefty and Righty comes up a lot. Like 60% of the year, I'm using Lefty and Righty in some capacity. This time of the year, dungeons are in play. Carbide is so fun. I've called him the King of Dungeons, linked it down below. It's a really, really fun one. And that video is going to be linked to a dungeon playlist. So click the Carbide video if you guys want to see all my dungeon videos. It's a really good playlist to keep in mind. And this is just a basic dungeon build. I won't explain it because this is not a dungeon guide, but very, very fun one to keep on hand. And then Insane Rocket Loadout. This build is so good. It's just Star Spangled Headhunter, making you not use all your rocket ammo. Then we've got rocket damage. Then we've got more rocket ammo savings, and then Warcry, Warcry, Warcry. Basically, Warcry cooldown reduction, Warcry extension, and then Warcry extension with extra steps because you need kills. So this whole build is geared towards extending your Warcry as far as possible and consuming as little rocket ammo as possible, which means you are 3.3 timesing your mag size. That's not the best way to say that, but you get my point. You can turn an 8-round mag into well over 30 shots if you're lucky. So it's really, really effective, and it's really cost effective because you're not spending ammo, and it's really fun to use, and I love this build. Again, description down below if you guys want me to explain it very thoroughly, but you get the gist. Another one is Crackshot. I know, it's kind of weird to see him way at the end here. He is very similar to the Totally Rockin' Out version over here, and that might prove true, but the truth is, after making videos on him, it's just not my current favorite build. It's still as epic as it ever was. Pairing this with the Storm King Scourge is amazing. There's a reason I have it set up here. It's just not the one I favor every game, and he does need Bulletstorm Jonesian support. So much like the Zenith build with the bow section, I could probably have this just sort of merged in with my previous build. If I find something at the back end here that's more worthwhile, then I could do that, but realistically, Crackshot at the end is a great staple of the channel. He's one of my most popular Fun 160 videos for a reason. It's just so good to stack up the Scourge as high as it'll go. And the last one here, I was happy because while I was preparing to record this video, I realized I didn't have something for the end here. I got through most of this playlist and realizing that my sections covered everything. Don't use links. So I realized that almost every single thing in this playlist is covered in some way already. Shotgun loadout, you know, it's just all covered. But I remembered that I sometimes run the Mythic Storm King. You guys remember the Mythic Storm King? And hey, I don't run it often, so it's my 15th loadout, way at the caboose of all of my loadouts, but sometimes I do run Storm King, and it's nice to have a dedicated build. I like to run Blast from the Past, Lynx. This is classic. I mean, just, you know, hardware, faster explosions. It just works. A lot of people like Totally Rockin' Out. I don't like fighting over wafers with my teammates, and I don't like relying on wafers. This build is tried and true, and we've successfully beat the king hundreds of times with it. So as long as someone runs a Warcry, it's pretty consistent, and that's the one that I have set up. So yeah. On the one hand, I want to say sorry for the casual video, no gameplay, no editing, but I just wanted this to be a sit down and chat kind of video, and description is full of links that have way more entertaining gameplay footage that you guys can check out. If any of these builds interested you and you want to dive in and explore what they're capable of, the description down below, like I just said, it's going to be a library full of stuff, so it's down there if you want it. And yeah, I'm glad I could share this with you guys. A lot of people ask me what my favorite loadout is. What's your favorite gun? And I hope in the last 17 minutes I've given the answer that I don't have one. The first, like, let's see here. The first realistically 13 of these are just sections for my favorite builds. I can tell you personally, right now I'm really enjoying shotguns. This build with a ground pounder is nuts, and I favor it heavily. I do like bows. Everybody likes the Xenon bow for the same reason. I think it's a little overused, but when I come back after a couple of weeks, it's a fun way to return. But when I use melees, I change these around a lot. I love Cloaked Shadow. Like, I switch my loadout almost every game, and this is going to make it easier than ever. So, all right. Hope you learned something. Description down below. Subscribe if you really enjoy this. You want to see more. A lot of my videos are more polished than this. Like the video if you did. You know, tell me you want some other stuff. I have an account overview video, which I should probably remember to link down below because it's a pretty similar style. If you guys want to see all of my heroes and weapons and what I've supercharged and why and all of my skins and my entire locker, it's like a 45-minute video, and you might be interested in that if you were interested in this. So that's it. I'm out of here. Goodbye.